Oh boy, I can't wait to go outside and look for really well hidden eggs. Well, I can, because I'm going to tell you the real story, boyo. Easter is known as a day of rabbits and chickens and, well, money and candy and an egg. But just like my last couple of videos, I will tell you the actual history. And believe me, I know this one pretty good. And please listen to this. I am not going to be super specific. So if you want details about the story, you can read the Bible for yourself. Okay, so there's this dude named Jesus. You may or may not have heard of him before, and he was born in 0 AD in a small town called Bethlehem. His mother Mary was told by an angel that she was going to give birth to a boy and his name was going to be Jesus, and that he was going to be the light of the world and the savior of the world, and his kingdom would last forever. Oh yeah, did I mention she was a virgin? Now, I don't know if Mary was freaking out, but her soon to be husband Joseph definitely was. And he was going to break off the wedding. He loved her a lot though, so he did it in a way where no one would know so that she would not gain a bad reputation. As he was sleeping that night, an angel came to him in a dream and said, "Yo, bro, chill. It's all good." And basically told him the same exact thing he told Mary. So a couple months later, Jesus was born. They had to flee to Egypt for a while because King Herod, the king at the time, wanted to kill Jesus because he heard that he would become king when he got older. So they left and went to Egypt. That dude died, so Jesus and his family went back home. Side note, Jesus' cousin was a well-known Baptist and his name was John. Jesus wanted to get baptized by John, but John insisted that Jesus baptized him because John knew that Jesus was better than he was. After they had a cousin clash, John finally baptized Jesus. And as Jesus came out of the water, the heavens opened and said, "This is my son who brings me great joy." Everyone was probably in shock. After that, he started to teach everywhere he could, but first he got 12 disciples. Disciples are dudes who follow a better dude. His disciples' names were Peter, Andrew, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, there are two of them, Simon, Judas, and Judas Iscariot. And they went everywhere with Jesus. Okay, let me stop right here. Honestly, I could make an hour-long video about everything Jesus did in the Bible, but I literally cannot draw enough pictures for an hour. I would die. So if you're curious to see what he did, you can read it for yourself, but I'll quickly mention what he did. He healed people and he taught people wisdom, and often roasting some of them with truth. The main people who he would make angry were the religious leaders called the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and they were mad at what Jesus was saying, so they planned to kill him. Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, was told he would get paid 30 pieces of silver if he ratted out Jesus, aka his friend. And let me put this into perspective how much money that was at the time. At the time, 30 pieces of silver could be anywhere from $9,000 to $3,000. Just imagine if your homie sold you out for a recliner. Anyways, the Pharisees got Jesus and held a court hearing to see what they would do with him. They all went back and forth because some of the Pharisees said he did nothing wrong, but the bad Pharisees yeeted the good ones out of there so they could make the decision themselves. So the bad Pharisees and a lot of Hebrew people went to this dude named Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor at the time, and demanded him to crucify Jesus. Pontius Pilate took and talked to Jesus, and he saw there was nothing wrong with him. So he sent him to Herod Antipas, the leader of the Jews, and he thought there was nothing wrong with him, even though he said it more in a rude way. So he sent him back to Pilate. So Pilate gave them a deal. "Hey, y'all want me to release Barnabas, the guy who killed a bunch of people? Or Jesus who literally did nothing?" "Barnabas!" "What?" So he released Barnabas and had Jesus flogged, aka tortured, and brought him back to the people hoping that they would be satisfied. "Y'all good now? Can I let him go?" "Crucify him!" "What?" Pilate didn't want a riot to happen, so he finally agreed. But he washed his hands and was like, "Yeah, his death ain't on me. Y'all the crazy ones." So they took him and crucified him, and that marks Good Friday. So when they finished crucifying him, they put him in a tomb guarded by two elite Roman guards put there by the Pharisees, because the Pharisees didn't want the disciples to take his body and claim that he rose from the dead. So a couple of days later, Mary Magdalene, someone Jesus saved, Mary, mother of James, I don't know which James, and Salome went to Jesus' tomb to put perfume on him because that was a Hebrew practice back then. And lo and behold, he ain't there. The Roman dudes were asleep, and there was an angel on the doorway, or the stone, and he told them Jesus was alive. So they ran back to tell the disciples. They didn't believe them, but Peter and John did, and they ran to his tomb, and he wasn't there. Then Jesus appeared to two other of his followers as they were on their way to Emmaus, and he talked with them. but he didn't allow them to recognize him. And basically, they told him everything that happened to Jesus, which was him. Then Jesus talked to them about the prophecies, and when they reached Emmaus, then they realized that he was Jesus, and poof, he was gone. He then appeared to all his disciples and told them to go out into the world and to share the good news. And that's basically it. I didn't go into major details, so if you want, you can read the Bible for yourself. And where the chickens and the eggs came from? Funny story, people just wanted to de-Christianize the holiday and want to make profit off of it, just like every other holiday. But I seriously encourage you to read the Bible. It would make way more sense, and it would make moi happy. And if you did read the Bible before, good for you.